Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, June 7th. Looking at our impact map, a change to colder, more moist conditions across most of the geographic area, but still in the far south, southwest Utah, Arizona Strip, down towards Vegas. They are still quite dry, had little to no rainfall, and they expect critical winds down there later today. Those winds will extend into parts of southeastern Utah, but their fuels are much more moist from the recent rains. Speaking of recent rains, here on the left-hand side, you can see widespread areas of moderate, even locally heavy rain amounts in the blue and green, over an inch in many locations. But again, in the far south, missing out on a lot of that. Lots of lightning with that rain. We'll see how that plays off with holdovers over the next day or two. And before the cooler, weather moved in some areas, we did have new fire starts here in the red, recent fires in the yellow, so fire activity has been pretty active the last few days. On the left-hand side here, here's precipitation over the past 7 days, excluding the last 24 hours. You can see that we had quite a bit here across Utah. The darker shades of blue are a tenth, quarter, and greens are half an inch, and that's on top of what fell the past 24 hours. This is actually on the right-hand side, percent of normal. You can still see below normal precipitation for much of Nevada for this time of year, but wetter than normal across southeastern areas. ERC maps are on transition now. They're on their way down in most areas, but still hanging tough with 80th to 90th percentiles in a few locations. Some of these drier fuels here were taken early afternoon before rain moved in. These will definitely be turning yellow and green as we go into the next day or two. 10-hour fuels have taken a hit across most areas. Only places below 5% is a narrow strip here along the California-Nevada border. They've modified to about 5 or 6% in our southern areas, and those are the only areas that could be critical if there's also accompanying critical weather conditions. Unseasonably deep low-pressure trough, more typical of March or April than June. Coolness, showers, even some high elevation snows in the north, and even down south still cooler, but the tight packing of these height lines indicates strong winds, which is on the menu for today. So here's that weather map. You can see the deep low, the moisture associated with it in the northern portion of the Great Basin, but there's that dry wedge of air across the south that we're most concerned with. We do have high risk for wind in those areas where still fuels are marginally critically dry. Notice those wind speeds down here in the purple to orange shades are pushing 30 to 40 miles per hour. And look at those humidities down in the south, 7% in Vegas, 8% in Pioche. So still single digits to low teens in our southern areas, and they missed out on the rain. Monday, trough low pressure starts moving out. You can see the moistening that has occurred over the last several days across most of the region. Humidity still dry down south, still moist up north. Winds coming out of the northwest, a little gusty in the eastern areas, but again, quite moist through there. On Tuesday, starting to flatten out that trough. A ridge of high pressure may start building in, still moist except for deep southern areas. Still very dry down south, single-digit humidities, but as you get towards the I-80 corridor, minimum humidities at teens to 20s, 30% plus up in Idaho and Wyoming. Wind starts slackening off. 3-day precipitation totals from today onwards still getting more across parts of the Wasatch, Uintas, northern Nevada, and much of the higher terrain of Wyoming and Idaho. Just a few much lighter amounts in the Snake River Plain. Wednesday, high pressure starts building in. See that arc coming in, drier air. You'll start seeing on the right-hand side our significant fire potential starts drying out as we go towards Thursday and Friday. But then a deeper low-pressure area starts coming in, moisture into the Pacific Northwest, but again, concern for strong winds in the south. And we'll have to watch that on Saturday as this low deepens. It's kind of a new model development. We'll see if this persists. This could bring more moisture to the north, but again, drier, windier conditions to the south. You can see how dry they are. 7-day precipitation totals, and there's a tropical system moving into the New Orleans, Louisiana area with heavy rains down there. 8 to 14-day outlook, cooler than normal in most of the area to near normal. Drier in southeastern areas of the geographic area, wetter up north, June 14th to the 20th. That concludes our briefing. Have a great day.